Welcome to Reef and Pond Wise. It's another fabulous day in the hobby. If it's your first time here and you love reef keeping and pond keeping like I do, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. So today's video is about adding salt to your pond and concluding the spring opening. And I'm also going to give you, just in a couple of minutes, the top 10 reasons why you want to add salt to your pond in the spring. So let's get started. Most fish have an internal salt concentration of about 1% or 10 parts per thousand, which is higher than the water environment that they reside in. The osmosis causes water to transfer from the lower salinity of the pond water into the tissue of the fish. So when you're treating with salt, it really is, the idea is to lower the osmosis pressure to the fish. This would reduce, their effort for the fish to eliminate the excess water that they have access to, and then obviously would save their energy that's available to them for the use of the fish immune system that helps fight diseases. So I do this every spring. It's very, very helpful in the proper dose. Now I will dose a 1% level in the spring, less than 1%, usually about 0.5%. So I have a 7,500 gallon pond, and I will go ahead and dose about 50 pounds of sodium chloride. And guys, when you're dosing salt, you don't want to go over the 1% level. As a matter of fact, I would recommend anywhere between a salinity reading of 30 and under. So after I dose the salt, I'll take a reading in the next couple of days and do a follow-up video on that. So let's get to the top 10 reasons why you add salt in your pond during the spring. Number 10, it's good for your fish. It helps fight diseases. And after a long winter hibernation, you can imagine sitting still for all that time, that coming out of hibernation, there's the possibility of immune issues. So salt will definitely help your fish in the spring. Number 9, it has no expiration date. So the salt that you buy, as long as it's pure or as close to pure sodium chloride as you can get, you are not going to see any expiration on your salt. Number 8, it won't harm your filtration. So the salt will not eat away at any of your biological or your mechanical filtration, which in turn will have ill effects on any lasting equipment issues. Number 7, it's inexpensive. It's an easy way to fight disease in your pond, and it doesn't cost much. Depending on where you live, you can pick up a 50-pound bag of salt anywhere between $20 and $30. Number 6, it does not get bound up in the system by organics or sunlight. So remember, I've done some videos in the past about sunlight, algae, how to prevent those kinds of things in your pond from being a problem. And the nice thing about salt is it doesn't contribute to any of the sunlight or organic issues that are just normal part of the ecosystem in your pond. Number 5, it stimulates mucus slime coat production on your fish. So that's another immune type situation that helps your fish out. And it's just a good way to promote a healthy, good growing mucus slime coat. Number 4, it reduces the effects of nitrate toxicity. So you don't really need to worry about that. I think most pond keepers understand that, nitrites and nitrates in a pond are something you're going to manage anyway. But I wanted to throw that in my top 10 list so everyone is aware of it, especially if you're new to the hobby. Number 3, it eliminates 7 of 9 parasites commonly found in the pond. And so if you're treating your pond with pond salt in the spring, it's more of a preventative measure, as long as you don't overdo it. I can't stress that enough. Do not exceed 1% of your pond volume when you're treating salt in the spring. It's a preventative measure. Number 2, it does not push sick fish over the edge. That's pretty self-explanatory. If anything, it's a benefit. And my number 1 reason to salt your pond in the spring is it's safe for all pond species. So there's absolutely zero problem or zero concern adding salt to your pond as a preventative measure in the spring. So guys, I'm going to show you real quick how I go ahead and add the salt to the pond. And so we'll walk over here to my little mixing station. Now, as you can see, I have a 50-pound bag of salt, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of the density and the purity of the salt. So this is what you want to look for, and you can see that it's almost 100% pure salt. And this is what the salt looks like in the bucket. So what I'll do is mix up some water. I'm not going to take up time on this video to do that right now. You get the idea. And then I will slowly add this into the pond. And let me stress again, slowly. So what I've done here is I've got a couple of tablespoons of salt so I can demonstrate how slow you want to put this in. And I've grabbed this cup. And you can take an hour or 2 to do this, but this is what you want to do to add your salt into the pond. Now you can do it by the bucket as long as it's along the edges of the pond, or you can use a cup like this and grab it from the bucket and add it to your pond. But the key is, don't just splash an entire bucket of salt in your pond at one time. What I recommend is going around the entire perimeter of the pond, putting salt in the bog pond. You know, make sure you get it circulating real good, and you don't want to shock the fish, even though it's a small percentage. So if you do the math, at 7,500 gallons, and I'm putting 50 pounds of salt, that is right in between 0.5% and a full percent of pond salt that'll be going in this pond. So guys, if you found this helpful and informational, hit the like button. And remember guys, anybody can build a pond, but it takes somebody special to keep one. And that someone special is you.